The wind howled through the skeletal branches of the ancient oaks surrounding Harrow Creek, a forgotten village nestled deep in the Appalachian Mountains. A perpetual twilight seemed to cling to the place, a damp, chilling shroud that seeped into your bones. Sarah, a young college student researching local folklore, found herself drawn to Harrow Creek by whispers of a tragedy, a story the locals refused to speak aloud. Her research led her to the legend of Evelyn Hayes, a spirited young woman who decades ago met a horrific end near the abandoned railway crossing on the outskirts of town. The official story was a tragic accident. Evelyn, rushing home late one night, slipped and fell onto the tracks, directly into the path of an oncoming train. But Sarah's grandmother, a native of Harrow Creek, had hinted at something far more sinister, a malevolent presence linked to the accident. One particularly bleak evening, Sarah decided to visit the railway crossing. The air was thick with the scent of decaying leaves and damp earth. The rusty rails gleamed faintly under the weak moonlight, casting long, distorted shadows. As she walked along the tracks, a chilling gust of wind swept through the trees, carrying with it a faint, almost imperceptible scratching sound. Dismissing it as her imagination, Sarah continued her investigation. She noticed strange gouges in the wooden sleepers, as if something had been dragged across them. The scratches were too deliberate, too precise to be caused by natural forces. A growing sense of unease settled upon her, a primal fear that pricked at the back of her neck. Suddenly, the scratching sound returned, louder this time, closer. It was a rasping, agonizing noise, like fingernails scraping against metal. Sarah whirled around, her heart pounding in her chest, but saw nothing. The only sound was the wind whispering through the trees, a mocking lullaby. Then she heard it. A faint, rhythmic tapping, a sound that resonated deep within her soul. Tap, 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 it was coming from the darkness further down the tracks. Fear propelled her forward, an irresistible urge to uncover the source of the sound. As she crept closer, the tapping grew louder, clearer. And then she saw it. A figure, barely visible in the gloom, dragging itself along the tracks. It was Evelyn Hayes, or what remained of her. Her body was severed at the waist, the raw edges of her torso scraping against the rails. Her eyes, wide and filled with eternal torment, were fixed on Sarah. Evelyn's mangled form continued its agonizing journey, the tapping sound emanating from her dragging hands. Each tap seemed to echo through the valley, a mournful dirge for a life stolen too soon. Sarah stood frozen, paralyzed by terror, as the spectral figure drew closer. The air grew heavy, charged with a palpable sense of dread. A bone-chilling wind whipped around Sarah, carrying with it the stench of decay and despair. Evelyn's spectral face contorted in a silent scream, her eyes burning with a malevolent hunger. With a final, desperate lunge, Evelyn reached for Sarah, her cold, spectral hands grasping at her ankles. Sarah screamed, a primal scream of pure terror that ripped through the night. She stumbled backward, breaking free from Evelyn's grasp, and fled into the woods, the image of the mutilated figure seared into her mind. She ran blindly through the trees, branches tearing at her skin, her breath ragged and shallow. She didn't stop running until she reached the safety of her grandmother's cabin, the only place in Harrow Creek where she felt safe. The next morning, Sarah returned to the railway crossing, determined to put an end to the nightmare. She found the tracks undisturbed, the gouges still visible in the wooden sleepers. But there was something else, something new. Sprawled in the dirt, in what looked like dried blood, were two words almost